Welcome to this explainer. It's wild to stop and think about the fact that Warren Buffett, arguably one of the greatest investors in all of human history, never won the lottery. He's never tried to sell anyone on a get-rich-quick dream. And yet, the guy's personal wealth is literally larger than the budgets of some entire countries. But today, we're not talking about billions. We're going to look at a seemingly impossible dream for the everyday person, building a 1 crore net worth on a perfectly average salary, all by using the exact same underlying philosophy that built Buffett's empire.
So let's just put a massive, provocative question right out there on the table. If Warren Buffett were a 25-year-old living in India today, starting totally from scratch with just a basic salary, no established business, zero wealthy family background, could he still make his first 1 crore? Well, enthusiastically, the source material answers that with a resounding yes. And the reason why is pretty fascinating. It's because becoming a crorepati is actually a psychological game first and a numbers game second. It really isn't about how much money you earn, it is entirely about how you think.
All right, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the 1 crore mindset and exactly why your income isn't everything.
So why do we even fixate on hitting that first 1 crore? It's because hitting that number is the ultimate, undeniable proof that you finally started making money work for you instead of you just working for money. Now, most people mistakenly believe that to build serious wealth, you just need a massive income. But think about it. If that were true, only people with sky-high salaries would be rich, right? We all know someone making a huge salary whose bank account is completely drained by the end of the month. So let's contrast two hypothetical 25-year-olds to make this concrete. Rahul and Arjun. They both have the exact same job, pulling in the exact same salary of, say, 50,000 rupees a month. Now, Rahul firmly believes that you only live once. The second his salary hits, he buys the newest phone, drops cash on expensive clothes, and goes out every single weekend. He spends first and maybe, just maybe, barely saves whatever is left over. Now, Arjun, he also enjoys his life, absolutely, but he runs on a radically different system. He invests first, immediately putting a portion of his money into assets, and then he spends what's left. They share the exact same income, but over time, they are going to live in completely different financial universes. Which brings us to section 2, money habits over income, or what we can call the real compound interest. The absolute most powerful compounding isn't just the math happening in your bank account. It's what's happening in your daily habits. A person who starts making the right financial decisions at age 25 is going to see those exact same small decisions create a difference of crores by the time they hit 45. So what exactly is an asset in this context? Well, Buffett has this powerful analogy. He says you should view every single rupee that enters your bank account as a tiny little employee, and your only job is to send that employee out into the world to recruit and bring back even more employees. Or think of it like holding a mango seed. You basically have two choices, right? You can throw it away today, or you can plant it in the soil, nurture it, and wait for it to become a massive tree that gives you hundreds of mangoes for years to come. An asset is simply a seed planted today so that you don't have to go hungry tomorrow. Buffett actually has this incredible saying that hits the nail on the head. He says, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. It's so true. Nature doesn't rush. A mighty tree doesn't grow overnight, and true wealth doesn't magically appear in a few months. People who are constantly chasing those quick returns and double your money schemes, they almost always end up with nothing because they are essentially eating their own seeds. True wealth just cannot be rushed. Patience is absolutely the bedrock foundation of compounding. The decisions you make right now for your future, 10 or 20 years down the line, are what literally turn time into your greatest superpower.
But, oh boy, here is where so many of us hit a massive roadblock. It is hands down the most common middle-class trap in the world. People constantly tell themselves, well, my savings are just too small right now. I'll just wait for a larger income to start investing. But Buffett points out a huge flaw in this logic. You don't invest because you have a lot of money. You invest so that one day you will have a lot of money. Waiting is literally costing you the single most valuable ingredient in this whole recipe, and that's time. The habit itself needs to start today entirely regardless of the amount.
And that transitions us perfectly into section 3, the ultimate asset, which is all about investing in yourself.
Okay, picture this for a second. Imagine that tomorrow, absolute worst case scenario, you lose everything. Your savings drop to absolute zero. Do you have anything left to rebuild from? If you're looking for the answer in your wallet, you're looking in the wrong place. The ultimate asset isn't gold, it's not a piece of real estate, and it definitely isn't a hot stock. It's you. It's your knowledge, your skills, and your character. If you possess those three things, even if every penny disappears, it's going to come back to you. Because here's the secret. The market does not just hand you cash for your time, the market pays you for the value you squeeze into that time. If you invest just an hour every single day in upgrading your skills, improving your communication, or deeply understanding finance, you are directly increasing your own earning power. And doubling your earning power, that doubles the speed at which your wealth grows.
Let's move on to Section 4, Pay Yourself First. This is about actively directing your money's mission. Let's get really practical for a second. Think about the exact moment your paycheck hits your bank account. For most of us, it's an immediate, massive outward flow, right? Rent, electricity, EMIs, online shopping, grabbing takeout, and by the end of the month, a stranger's hand has taken pretty much all of it. The money totally lacks direction. But here's the specific sequence that changes the whole game. Step 1, the salary drops. Step 2, and this is absolutely crucial, you pay your future self first by investing. And only then, step 3, you pay the rest of the world. Wealthy people ruthlessly prioritize paying their future selves way before they pay the landlord or the local shopping mall. Every single rupee is sent on a specific mission. Because look, if you spend 100 out of 100 rupees, you're going to start next month at 0. But if you keep even 20 rupees for your future, next month you aren't just working alone anymore. Your past money is actually working right alongside you. So the crucial point we need to hammer home here is avoiding the dreaded lifestyle inflation. As incomes rise, it is so tempting to just inflate our lifestyles to match, upgrading to new cars, bigger houses, flashing expensive brands. People naturally want to look rich, but the reality? Real wealth is actually kind of invisible. Flashy, visible expenses are very often just an illusion of wealth, heavily masking a ton of debt. True wealth lives quietly in invisible assets, things like investments, stocks, and compounding patience. The person spending all their cash just to impress strangers is actively weakening their future, while the person quietly building those invisible assets is making theirs bulletproof.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, Rules of the Wealth Game and Surviving the Long Marathon.
Because look, getting rich is a totally different sport than staying rich. Hitting that crorepati status is hard enough, but remaining one, that's even harder. You have to learn how to survive the long haul. Most people don't fail because they aren't working hard. They fail because they simply can't wait. Which brings us straight to Buffett's legendary ultimate rule number 1, never lose money. And rule number 2? Yeah, never forget rule number 1. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean Buffett has never taken a loss on an investment. What it actually means is avoiding those catastrophic FOMO-driven mistakes that knock you completely out of the wealth marathon forever. Don't go dumping all your life savings into one incredibly risky crypto tip from some online influencer just hoping to get rich by next Tuesday. Because if you get knocked out of the game entirely, compounding can never, ever work its magic for you.
You seriously don't have to chase every single hot stock, every fleeting trend, or whatever crazy scheme your friends won't stop talking about at dinner. Think of it kind of like being a batsman in cricket. You absolutely don't have to swing at every single ball thrown your way. You just stand there and wait for the perfect one. This is what's called your circle of competence. True, lasting wealth is built by staying hyper-focused on what you actually understand. Real risk doesn't come from the market naturally moving up and down. Risk comes from having absolutely no idea what you're doing with your money.
Okay, let's break the fourth wall for a second here. I really want you to ask yourself 3 totally honest questions straight from the core of our explainer today. Number 1, is my money genuinely working for me every month, or is it literally just being spent? Number 2, am I paying my future self first, or am I just acting as a middleman to pay my bills? And number 3, if I continue on the exact same trajectory I am on today, will my current path lead me to 1 crore in the next 10 years? If asking yourself those questions makes you pause even for a second, then this explainer has absolutely done its job.
Because building that 1 crore net worth, it doesn't start in your bank account, guys. It starts right between your ears. It is never going to come from one lucky, massive, lottery-style decision. It is painstakingly constructed from the small, correct, and incredibly patient choices that you make every single day. The financial habits you choose to build today are exactly going to become the reality you have to live in tomorrow. So I'll leave you with this one final question to chew on. Are you ready to plant your first seed today?